Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I'm George, this is Malaka Motorsports, and this is the review for the 034 engine brackets for the Sports Series that we installed over a month ago. Now, earlier in this channel, last year, we installed the track sports from 034. They were solid, they were harsh, they were rough, but solely for the track. But a lot of us, being that there wasn't an engine mount option back then, chose to drive them every day. A lot of us who own the RS3 TTRSs both daily and frequent the track, and then also use these things to daily drive to the store, go to work, whatever the case may be. Some of them are solely race cars. Either way, there was only one engine mount option. Now, a couple of people offer them. So 034 saw it, well, RS3 owners don't just want to kick ass at the track, they also want to make an engine bracket kit for people that want to drive in the street. So now that I have the car back from Iris Motorsport after the build, we opted now to switch to the Street Sports, which again, I'll link in the description below for the install video. For those of you guys that have never installed them before, you guys can see us put them in. I have them now for over a month, and I wanted to give the engine mounts a set, kind of time to kind of break in, get together, and I wanted to get a really good review. Instantaneously, there is a huge difference between the Street Sports and also the Track Sport. Now, the track has a harder density rubber, it's rougher, it's meant for the guys that are going drag racing, but now with the Street Sports, the car is more civilized. If you guys see, I have full interior in my RS3. If you've been watching this channel and following us on Instagram at Malaka Motorsports, you know that this car has not had interior since about 3 or 4 months after I bought it. 3 or 4 months after I bought it, I said I'd never go drag racing, never do this. Quickly that changed. Back on topic. Now with the car in full interior, you guys can actually hear, see, feel what these track mounts feel like. And I'm on the freeway in Mexico, and I'm telling you right now, the car is completely transformed with these brackets, and I mean that in a good way. Now, there's going to be some pros and cons. Now, at idling, there is still a small, slight shudder, and there's a lot of people that are super sensitive to that. Some people have, loved ones that travel with them, kids, spouses, whatever the case may be. They may not like it still, but night and day difference from what this was in the Track Sport. Now, again, if you followed the last video, you know that if you own the billet Track Sports, you are able to convert them to streets by just swapping out the interior. And again, I'll show a little clip here in just a second. But now driving this car for over a month, going back and forth to work, going to the grocery store, having it full interior, treating this like a regular car, if you can call a built IMS 1000 a regular car, it feels civilized, it feels smooth. I even threw in the stock seats for good measure, so I can really feel or give an accurate representation of what you will like or you will take from this video. Again, I don't have my Kirky seat installed, I don't have my racing tires, I have Toyota Sports on the TSW wheels that I have. The car is still in drag race mode in terms of suspension, so there's still a little bit of stiffness in the back, but overall, this vehicle now it's more enjoyable to drive. I forgot how smooth the RS3 or the TTRS was in stock form. I drove my buddy Kyle's white RS3, and I'm like, man, full interior, super quiet, stock exhaust, built IMS 710 car, and I'm like, man, is this what I've been missing? And I completely, didn't realize that we transformed this RS3 into a track/street animal. So I want to kind of give you guys a heads up on the 034 engine brackets. For those of you guys that are listening to kind of swap over, do something different, and a lot of you guys hit us up on email and messenger and said, I was just hesitant, George. I was hesitant on, being it super rough and extreme. There's been some negative reviews online. And here's the thing. There really shouldn't be any negative reviews. You have to have the expectations. Our first review video, we stated that those were track mounts and they were solely meant for the track. If you choose to drive them on the street, do so at your own risk or at your own leisure. So now, I'm telling you guys, the street mounts makes this car daily drivable. And I'm pushing down now over 850 wheel, and we're limited on the fueling setup in this car, and the engine brackets handle them well. I mean, I could do rolling pulls here, and I could go on to maybe a little bit rolling anti-lag. Hold on 1 second. This is on map 1, so about 38 pounds of boost, nothing crazy. And the engine mounts still absorb that. It feels smooth. It doesn't feel like it's hard shuttering. And again, that's still not a bad thing. For those of you guys that are track only and guys want to go drag racing, the track mounts may still be the best option for you. But for those of you guys that frequent the track back and forth, this may be a solid option for you as well. It holds together on the track, and we'll do some launches here in a second so I can kind of give you guys the kind of view or the sound on the inside of the cabin so you guys can see what that's like. But it holds together launching, let me say this, it holds together during rolling anti-lag. Driving every day, it just feels smooth. I'm not shaking. The car feels linear, and I feel like I'm in a stock car driving smooth. But again, with the Street Sports, there's still a little bit of that hint of a slight little vibration, or what they like to call NVH at idle. Some may like it, some may not. To me, it doesn't mean anything. It's actually 80% less than what it was on the track mount. So to me, I like it. It's a huge improvement. But again, if I go drag racing again, as soon as this whole COVID-19 mess kind of fades away, I'm going to be switching back to the track mounts. I need everything locked down. I don't want anything moving around. The Street Sports allow a little bit more movement than what the track sports were originally designed for. Again, that will give you the softer ride. That will give you the smoother shifting. They made it for people that want to drive on the street and, again, go hooning on the street, maybe go to the track, whatever the case may be. So I'm driving the car now. I've put maybe 25, maybe 3,000 miles in the past month of driving everywhere, driving down to San Diego, driving up north, and I can tell you right now, I have not one issue with these mounts. Now, this is not a paid advertisement. This is not a sponsored product. This is me giving you a product that we secured and we installed in my RS3 and letting you know what it feels. Now, some of you guys may be asking, George, what are the cons to something like this? Well, here's the cons. The cons are you're going to have slightly more vibration than the stock mount, slightly more with the Street Sports. The cons are it's going to vibrate a little bit more on idle for those of you guys that are super sensitive as you guys are driving. Some people are, some people are not. But the positives here, you have an engine and transmission that is not going to be flopping around. You're not going to be, so just to give you an idea, the reason why a lot of people have issues with silicone hoses popping off, clamps not holding well, the stock clamps do a pretty fairly good job in the silicone hoses. The problem is they have too much engine and trans movement. So the pros to it is you're going to be locking down your engine and trans. You're not going to be pulling hoses off when it means the most, whether it's on a highway pull or it's going to be at the track or doing a roll race. And the pros are you're going to get something that's not beating up your engine and trans setup. So let's go do some launching so you guys can see what this thing sounds like and feels like with a launch. You guys can hear the noises. And yeah, let's do that. Quick little launch, real quick in sport. It's going to be map 1, so nothing crazy. I don't want to blow off the tires. Wow. So it felt like launching, not power-wise, but it felt like launching like a stage 1 stock car. A lot of tire spin, obviously. The IMS 1000, even in map 1, puts a lot of power, but it was smooth. It didn't shake the crap out of me. As you guys see in the older videos of us launching, it's very rough. It's locked down. It's tight. But now, that was pretty good. I'd say that was pretty good. Man, it really, having the interior kind of quiets the car down a lot. You don't hear it like the exhaust literally coming out of the trunk. Sounds even better. Feel bad whoever's outside the car though. Smooth, not jolting, not nothing. And I have it in manual now, and I'm accelerating back and forth, riding the gears up and down, back and forth. Listen, this is going to be a really quick video, guys. I wanted to do this review to let you guys know what this car felt like after putting in the miles after a month, the differences between the track and the sport. Again, I'll throw some clips up of me launching in the tracks, stop launching in the tracks. You can hear and feel the car kind of shudder. And to be honest with you, some of it now might be even masked by having some of the interior in, but I don't feel the noise. I don't feel the violence. I feel it's smooth. again, driving Kyle's car on stock engine mounts, this is what the car felt like. This is what the car feels like in Kyle's 710 IMS built motor car on stock engine mounts, launching and driving. So for those of you guys that are looking to kind of have something that's tempered, something that's strong, and performs really well, I mean, I got about over a month worth of dry time on these new Street Sports. I have, 2 years on the Track Sports. So far, haven't broken anything. So far, performed really, really well again. And the cool thing about the, one last thing, I guess, the cool thing about the 034 engine mount is that, let me see if I can reach it. I got it with me. So these are the Track Sports. So imagine now, instead of having to buy another set of engine mounts, you can literally swap out the inserts, and that will be the change between street and sport, which is really cool. So now I have my tracks, and then when it comes time for drag racing, when it comes time for roll racing, or if it comes time for half mile, this is what I'm throwing back in, guys. So it gives me the opportunity to now to swap these out whenever I'd like, versus having to buy a whole nother set of engine mounts, which a lot of other manufacturers have. So keep in mind, 034, they ended up developing a really cool product. It works. They were first to market in the RS3, and in my opinion, so far it's the best option on the market, and it's what I'm sticking to. So having the opportunity to be able to switch back just by changing out inserts, having something soft and subtle that I could drive in the street, have somebody in the passenger seat, have somebody in the back. For those of you guys with families, young kids, and you end up having them in the back of the car, keep in mind the streets are going to be really enjoyable. It's not going to be miserable for these guys being in the car. Your spouse, your significant other probably won't complain about how the car feels on the Street Sports. And then when you want to have fun on the weekend, you always want to go to the track, throw in the tracks, go rip it up, go perform, go do well, and then swap it back. The engine mount entirely for the change takes us about, I think, 45 minutes to an hour when you have somebody helping you. So it's really not all that bad too if you want to kind of switch them out. And that's it. This is my review on the 034 engine track/sport upgrade. I hope you guys enjoyed it. There's going to be a lot more content coming your way. Next video, we're going to be doing the wireless burnout switch from USB for the RS3. After that, we got Stops B5. That's up and running. He's putting miles on it now with his new clutch setup and some other new things that he's got. Some updates coming on the wide body, clean up on the bottom of the chassis, the subframes, what I found, what colors I've gone with, maybe you guys can guess, on the subframe. So guys, stick around. We're not going anywhere. We're going to be posting a lot more content, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. For those of you guys that have, hit that like and subscribe button. It really helps us out and lets us know what you like. For those of you guys that have some comments, questions, concerns, put them in the comments below, and we'll be more than happy to answer them as soon as we can. Other than that, guys, I hope you guys have a great holiday weekend, and I'm going to keep beating the crap out of these mounts, and I can't wait for the racing season to kind of kick off. So take care, guys. Love you all. Thanks for the support.